And now let's welcome to Blissful Consults. We're going to go to our final question from Bella in California. Bella says, I am a perfectionist with high expectations. I've noticed that I've been extra harsh on my husband for very small missteps. I even say cruel things to him in my head. The same is true for my colleagues at work. I wish I didn't feel this way, but it seems like if I don't do something, it is not going to be done right. How can I stop projecting my perfectionism onto others? Woo, this is a really important one. Because for those of us who are perfectionists, type A, a little bit anxious, we know the pain and the suffering that causes on the inside. Because we live it. And the tragic part of the whole thing is that our perfectionism is actually rewarded in society. So we know the pain it causes, and also we see the abundance of rewards externally that it gives us. Praise from colleagues, job offers. We're always the one to be trusted to pick the restaurant, make the plans, organize the event. So it engenders a lot of trust in others. And also it's hard to always be that person. And so it can also build resentment. And I think this is where perfectionism, when it's starting to spill into others, it's a sign that resentment has begun or has been festering. And so this could look like, you've been the type A perfectionist you've always been, and all of a sudden you're starting to notice the gaps in other people's ways of being. And instead of just letting it go and maybe even filling those gaps, you start to criticize the person for having the gaps. Do I think it's healthy to see the gaps and then fill them? No. Do I know that that's what a lot of us do? Yes. I also know it's exhausting. And so once you start thinking like, hey, I don't want to fill this gap. I've filled this gap tons of times. I want the person who's responsible to do it to actually do it. And then the criticism starts. I think a relevant base of research or theory around this that could be useful is, have you heard of John Gottman, who's a really famous marriage researcher? He has a pretty big lab, I think in Washington State. And it's pretty cool. He has, it's like basically an apartment or a house, and couples go there and they live their lives, but like scientists are watching them and like evaluating them and collecting all this data on couples and how couples engage in healthy forms of communication and ways of communicating and being that don't lead to long and happy marriages. Anyway, so he has this theory called the 4 horsemen. And these are basically the 4 ways of engaging in a partnership that have the highest predictions for divorce, separation, ill feelings between the two people. One of them is criticism. Another is contempt. Another is defensiveness. And then the last one is stonewalling. So I think the one that this participant is emailing us about is criticism. So let's just focus on that one for a little bit. So criticism is actually attacking a person's their personality, the character of who they are. So let's say partner forgets to pick up the dry cleaning, partner forgets to change the kitty litter. Instead of saying, hey, it was your day to do the kitty litter, did you forget? The attack is, once again, you forgot to do the kitty litter. You don't have any care or consideration for our family, right? So this is behaviorally based. Your turn to do the kitty litter. Did you forget? And then the criticism is character based. You don't care. You don't value our family. And so perfectionism, when we're projecting it onto someone else, can lead us toward that way of being. Critical. And, you might think I'm super corny for saying this, but I've been practicing therapy for a long time, especially with women and women identified individuals who are trauma survivors. The first step is to start to be less critical of yourself. Because I think the way we talk to others is probably 10 times of a nicer way than we talk to ourselves. And so whenever I'm working with couples, or I'm seeing two people who are, one is being cruel to the other person, I frequently think, ooh, if that person is saying that to another person, imagine what they are saying to themselves. And so that's the beautiful work that can be done in trauma therapy. And the first step, you don't have to do it with a therapist. You can start tracking on your own. The first step is to really just to begin to notice your own thoughts. So like, what do you say to yourself when you make a mistake? Do you hold yourself to completely unreasonable high expectations? Like, do you consider that you're going to do 20 things on your to-do list in a day? Why would you hold yourself to that expectation? Who created that measuring stick? Do you want that measuring stick anymore? Is it working for you? And it's just beginning non-judgmentally to explore your own relationship to yourself. And the kinder and the softer you are with yourself, the kinder and softer you will naturally and organically extend to others. I hope that was helpful for Bella in California. I care about all of you. Lots and lots of love. And I hope you enjoyed this blissful consults. Have a good day.